So, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag with this one. I have never been the biggest TCG enthusiast. Like, you're not gonna find me in the Cat's Tail Tavern at Friday nights, cracking up some good old Yu-Gi-Oh music and getting ready for a whole evening of duels. But one thing that I do like, which you can probably guess based on all the videos I make on this channel, is world building and lore. And when it comes to TCG, one thing I was very excited about when this game mode was announced was the lore that the cards would potentially bring. Because if you don't know, League of Legends, or Riot Games, made a game called Legends of Runeterra. God rest its soul, that game is so fucking dead right now. But back when it used to be alive, what they would do is very smart. They would incorporate very interesting but concise lore tidbits into all the cards that they released. And I was hoping that Genshin TCG, or Seven Saints, for those of you who don't know, that was the original name of the game. I really do wish they kept the original Seven Saints name, but anyway, that's besides the point. I wished that TCG would do the same, where they would give us a lot of interesting lore in the cards we have. Unfortunately, however, that is not the case, because not only do we rarely get cards showcasing or revealing historical figures from the past, the ones we have don't really include that many interesting information about the world building or the lore of Genshin Impact, or even the story. For instance, we have Eula here. It says it's but a game. I won't hold a grudge. She's essentially this is her ideology, or a little quote from her character. To survive hardship, one must prepare for hardship. Again, nothing useful. Now, here's the thing that blows my mind, and this is why I'm saying there is so much wasted potential with these cards. This one is an absolute banger. Look, in the most fantastical of fables, or perhaps in the most rabid of ravings, the true stars in the depths of the cosmos are just as full of life as on Tevat, while the universe itself is akin to an ocean. Perhaps the universe's infiltration of Tevat has never ceased, and perhaps the drawing of borders around this world has the work of a higher will meant to protect it. This is exactly what I want from TCG cards. This is the type of lore I am asking for. So, the vast majority of cards have complete garbage lore, and then you have this banger. This is absolutely perfect to demonstrate what I'm trying to say. So it really sucks when you get a masterpiece of a card lore over here, and then you go back a little bit further behind and you get this shit. This is an act of righteousness. I'm not sure what kind of information I'm even supposed to draw from this line. It's not even at least Eula, you get some kind of if you have never met Eula before and you read this card, you at least get some kind of information about her character. But with Kuju Sara, it just says this is an act of righteousness, which I suppose righteousness is a big part of her clan, the Kuja clan. Sara as a whole is a massive wasted potential. I really hate what they did with her. She's a Tengu. They should have used her to explore Tengu and yokai lore in Inazuma. That's another completely other topic separate from this video. But yeah, this card is ass. It completely exemplifies what I'm trying to say. And then you have Arlecchino. Once again, just like the all-devouring narwhal, Peruer has massive potential for lore, and her card says solitary pale moon in a sky of fading stars. Completely useless. Now imagine if Hoyoverse, the writers, pulled their heads out of their ass for Genshin and gave us a concise, just like the narwhal, concise tidbit of information or hints or anything along those lines about Conria's Crimson Moon Dynasty, or about Peruer's perhaps parents or ancestors in this card. That would have been really cool. And I know someone is going to make this dogshit argument, so I need to address it very quickly. If anyone wants to argue that putting important lore in cards is not good because not everyone is going to look into the cards, this is a completely dogshit argument. For a variety of reasons, and the easiest one is most likely Before Sun and Moon. That book is arguably the most important singular piece of information that you can get in the whole of Genshin. And to obtain Before Sun and Moon, or the Byakuya collection, which contains Before Sun and Moon, you have to go to Enkanomiya, which is already a location underground and completely out of your way, which you have to first finish a quest on Watatsumi Island to get to, and the quest is a world quest, it's not even a main quest, so you have to look for the world quest on Watatsumi Island, complete it, Go to Enkanomiya, explore Enkanomiya, do the main world quest in Enkanomiya with Enjo, and then you have to find a random NPC inside of Enkanomiya, do the quest with her, and then enter the library, find the secret mirror in that library after completing the quest, go through it, and then fetch inside the library to find the book collection, then go back to the real world, and go to your archives and look for Before Sun and Moon, which you probably wouldn't try to guess unless someone told you about it. If you are not someone that is into lore, you would never guess that the book you get from this quest is that important. It literally talks about the first Descender, the primordial one. And that book is, again, it's the most important single piece of information that you could get for inside of all of Genshin Impact, arguably at least. There are a few contenders, but for now though, Before Sun and Moon is absolutely massive, and it is the definition of something that is out of your way. So when it comes to that, TCG is way easier to access for the vast majority of people, because most players will do TCG naturally just to get the Primogem rewards, and many players will likely check their cards and read the lore in those cards, and when they do, they will have potential to learn something new about the characters and the world building itself. Once again though, TCG has not done that good of a job in using its story section. As graceful as the frost drifting in the wind, as elegant, again, this is just describing Ayaka's character. It's not adding anything. And you know this line, as graceful as the frost drifting in the wind, as elegant as the heron perched in a courtyard, you don't really need this line to know what Ayaka is. This line is completely useless. This is essentially the developers, they didn't know what to add, so they just described Ayaka. You can look at Ayaka herself, see that she is graceful, you can look at her constellation, see that it is a heron, I believe that that's what her constellation is. So you don't need this line to know anything new about Ayaka. Does Sky have anything important? I never checked. Of course. Specializes in... Okay, this is completely useless. What about Kokomi? Anything use? Nope. Nouvellette? Okay, if Nouvellette doesn't have something on par with the Narwhal, I'm going to be really upset. This is literally a line from his story, like character story in the profile. Oh my god, this is so disappointing. They do have some massive bangers. There's another one over here. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. Once again, just like the Narwhal, it doesn't have to be the most insane, newest, most innovative lore reveal, but at least there is something to work with here if you want to talk about it in a lore video. This is useful information, but you can reference it, you can use it to support your arguments, stuff like that. Simply put, everything on this earth and below, it has cycles. This is important because cycles is a very reoccurring theme or reoccurring process in Genshin Impact and on Tevat, and in the greater Horrorverse as well. You can see it in Star Rail, and potentially ZZZ. We'll see what happens with ZZZ in the future, zoneless. But yeah, cycles is a massive reoccurring process in Genshin Impact. We know about it from the first civilization. We know about it from the root cycles of René de Petrichor, from the Narcissus and Croix Ordo, and it is simply put a very important theme, so it's good to see it being referenced here. Memories and elements surge through the ley lines. This is something useful that players might not necessarily know. Most players, I assume, would know that ley lines carry elements. I'm not sure if that many people are aware that memories also flow through the ley lines, although once you reach Natlan, you probably know this because the Night Kingdom is all about memories. However, for new players, this is pretty good, and you can reference it in videos as well. It's a useful and concise piece of information. Then it adds, perhaps the ancient civilizations were attempting to uncover the cycles that govern the conversions of dust to treasure. Very useful information despite being relatively vague, but still good enough to theorize on and talk about and include in videos. I also want to add that if you go back to the Narwhal and check his story, in the most fantastical of fables, or perhaps the most rabid of ravings, the true stars in the depths of the cosmos are just full of life as on Tevat, while the universe itself is akin to an ocean. Perhaps the universe's infiltration of Tevat has never ceased, so this information is not very new, actually. Most of you who watch this channel have probably heard me liken the abyss, or at least space, to the sea and the ocean many times in the past. This is based on several sources, such as the Angel's Egg, which heavily involves ships and the sea, and Noah's Ark, and of course Tevat is named Ark after Noah's Ark. And then there is also Perenheri. Almost everything mentioned in the Narwhal's card is there in Perenheri, because Perenheri, the book, likens space to the sea and the ocean. This is something mentioned by the sages who were trying to manipulate the king of the Crimson Moon dynasty back in the days. And they talked about how children come from beyond the sea who are shipwrecked, and those children are treated almost akin to gods, stuff like that. So this information isn't all new, but just simply having it there allows us to reinforce what is written in Perrin-Harry. Believe it or not, I've actually seen a lot of people think that books in Genshin are unreliable, which is a whole other topic that I'll make a video on in the future. Books in Genshin are reliable. Most people are just misunderstanding the type of message that should be conveyed through them. So when Perrin-Harry says that space is akin to the ocean, it doesn't mean space is the ocean or space is an ocean. But it does give us a kind of theme, a baseline theme, that we can analyze and then correlate with other things that we see on Teyvat. For instance, space so far has been likened in many situations, at least visually, to the abyss, because when you go into the chasm and the traveler sees the thing he fears the most, that thing happens to be the abyss and we see space. That's essentially the abyss, apparently. Now, I'm sure this could be attributed to the fact that back then the developers didn't really know how to visualize the abyss, although I doubt that. But there is some kind of correlation between stars and the abyss. So if the abyss is likened to water and the sea, then space would also be likened to a vast, massive, massive sea of void. This is essentially what Perrin-Harry is trying to say. So the Narwhal's card, including this information, reinforcing it, and adding a little bit of extra fluff and details to it, is very good. Now, I wish every single card did that, or at least the vast majority of them, especially like the character cards are a crime. They shouldn't be describing the character. They should legitimately be telling us some kind of information about the world building of them or their history. For instance, I wish Kamisato Ayaka's card or Ayato's card told us about the history of the Kamisato clan. I wish Kaya's card told us something about his father or Conria. I wish Peruer's card told us something about her parents or her dynasty or the Crimson Moon. Anything along those lines, that would have been really cool, because this is what Legends of Runeterra does. And back before the game died, it used to be a very, very big attraction for me. I really loved reading the lore in those cards. And again, saying that cards are out of the way so we shouldn't put important lore in them is a dogshit argument. There is so much important lore in this game that is hidden way beyond the player's sight. And TCG cards on a baseline are much more accessible than the vast majority of those information. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Hoyoverse, if you are watching this, trust me, put important lore in cards. It will benefit pretty much everyone. People who don't care about the lore and watch lore videos will be able to see that cool lore that will be found in cards, and YouTubers will reference them in their videos, and people who care about the lore will get some exciting new stuff to look forward to with every new card release. That's all I have for now, though. I've got a bunch of really cool videos that are set up for the near future. I have one that will be coming out in 2 days. It's already uploaded. I'm just waiting for the right time to publish it. It is about King Deshret, Kaya, and Mizuki. And after that, I have another Stariel one, which I think will be a banger. So, take care, and I will catch you in the next time.